Okay, let's finish up putting these parts that we've got created together. And then what we're going to do after that is we're going to go ahead and assemble some of the bolts and nuts and washers that it would take to hold this together. So first thing I want to do is put this piece in place, this hook, if you will. It's going to go inside this piece of the frame. So again, the orientation's wrong, so we're going to go ahead and constrain, and we'll do insert, and I'll pick this face here with that circle. Then we'll rotate around and pick that face right there. Now I'm just going to hit OK. Rotate that back around a little bit, and note that this will still move in and out like so, which that would be used to hook into this edge right here. Okay, as a quick connect, if you will. Well, let's see. Let's go in here and kind of zoom in on this area right here. In fact, if we hit the right view, and then we'll zoom in here. It looks pretty close. In fact, I'm not so sure that that's not line to line. So there's really no need to deal with that as far as trying to center it up any better. If we just leave that at, with the offset at 0, we should be fine. Okay, now then, well, several different things we can do here, but I'm going to do the handle first, I guess. So these two pieces could actually be put together before you put them in this piece here, but we don't need to do that necessarily. But let's go ahead and constrain this axis to the axis of the hole, and we'll hit apply this time instead of closing out of it. And then we'll hit, let's zoom in here a little bit, and we'll hit, now on this one, I think we want to go ahead and do the insert, and we want to get to the inside of this piece here. So we want to get on the inside. Now that might be a little bit hard to pick, so we'll pick it and then we'll come back to it. And then we want to pick, actually we want to go in and pick, I'm going to hold there for a second. It's not going to let me pick that there we go, there's the bottom that I wanted. And we'll just go ahead and say OK. And we'll zoom that out, rotate that around a little bit. If you want, you could probably hit this. Well, that's not going to be 100% right, is it? Because that thing's rotated. But what I want to do is look at that. I'm going to zoom in on that. And then I'm going to go to View, turn off the shading, and I'll rotate that around a little bit more now. And I want to make sure that I'm not, I don't have that in a bind. And look there, I do have it in a bind, don't I? See, this piece right here is too deep. Now I could do several different things there, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and find that cap, and there you see it. And let's get rid of that insert so that this thing will move back off of there. See that? Now a key note here is this hole will look smaller than this shaft because they're showing you the minor diameter of the hole and this the thread, and this is the major diameter, so there will be that appearance of a mismatch. Just keep that in mind. Now then, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the assemble, constrain, and we'll do an insert again. And I'm still going to do, I want that face right there. And I want to go in, and it may not, if it's not going to let me have that face. It actually went to the, just trying to get that face right there. So I'm going to have to zoom around here. Let's go around and See if we get that from the inside. So I'm going to cancel that, and okay, so then we'll go back in there and constrain. I want that edge right there and that edge right there. So when I rotate this around, and that's still going in too far. So, well, what we'll do then, if that's the way it wants to play, we'll do this. We'll delete that, and so this piece can come out here. Now, what I need to know is how deep that hole goes in this piece right here. So what I'll do is I'll right click on that and open that part. If I don't think I hit the right open. Handle in, I'm going to go right click and hit open. And I'll go to that hole and see how deep I made it by right clicking and doing the edit feature. And you can see here that I went 3/8 of an inch deep. Okay, so if I go 3/8 of an inch, now what I'm going to do then is I'm going to take this and I'll do a constrain, and I'll do insert, and I want to grab this edge here again, and I'll grab this edge. Okay, now they set right in there, but I'm going to make that 0.375. Oh, and it's the wrong direction on that, so I'm going to have to flip that direction. Let's see how it made it 0.375. Let's make it minus 0.375. And that's actually still too much, so let's make it 0.30. Okay, so it's going in there 3/10 of an inch, which is fine. And we'll go back to view and turn our wireframe back off. Oh, in fact, I think the threads only go in 3/10 of an inch. So that's I guess the other controlling factor. We can only go as far as the threads go. Okay, now the other thing is this thing will crash. It'll go through there, but that's just the way it's going to have to be for now. Okay, it looks like we got one more thing to do here, and that's put this piece in here. Of course, what I should be doing here now is saving, shouldn't I? Okay, so we'll go in there, and what I'm going to do, I think it's probably easier if I right click on this and, whoops, didn't get it. If I click on this piece, right click and turn the visibility off, then I can put this piece in place. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'll do a mate, and I want to mate this face to the back face. Apply, and I'm going to get out of that for a second, but you see, and it looks like that thing's not latching on there, but it actually is. Then from there, I'm going to go in there and do another mate, and maybe I'd pick, it doesn't matter, I'll pick this face here and rotate this around, pick that face there. Now you have to be careful, because sometimes they won't mate because of the amount of distance between the parts may be too much. So if that's the case, then you can't use mate. You have to use that angle and make them parallel. So just keep that in mind. Okay, and also we've got to mate something up and down here, don't we? So let's mate. Let's go in there and mate this face right here to the face that's corresponding there. So let's zoom in there a little bit. I want this face. And this face here. Okay, and that, now that thing is locked in. It's not able to move. The only thing that is a problem is it's not centered on this piece here. In reality, it could float back and forth on that, but we want that thing to be somewhat able to move there. So let's see that particular piece. There's the jaw, and the second mate there was the one we made flush. The one thing that concerns me there is, notice how close that is to the edge, and I don't know. Let's do a view and turn that wireframe back on. Yeah, see, we've got it, it's hitting here, so we got to move this over so that it's more centered there, because that flush that I used was too close. So I'm going to go in there and turn my shading back on. Okay, and so even if we went in there and did flush, we're still not going to be correcting the issue or doing a mate. But what I can do is I'll go ahead and do that mate, and I'll pick that face and then come over, and if I can get it, I've got to get it rotated around here to where I can see that face if possible, and I'm having trouble. So what I'll do is I'll do this. I'll grab that and get it way out there. So I'm going to do that mate again. I want this face, and I want this face here. Okay, so that locks that in. Problem is there's a gap on the other side. So much like we did earlier in this in the first video, what we're going to do is we're going to go to Tools and do a distance between this face, rotate it around here, and that face, and it's 31 thousandths. So we need to go in then and find that mate, which is this mate right here, I believe. So if we click on that, let's see, let's get out of this. It's 31 thousandths. There's my original mate. Okay, so now we need to take 0.031 divided by 2, and that locks that in, and it's now centered between those two. Between these two edges here. It's centered up now. And that pretty much locks that thing in. The only thing I'm not sure of right now is I need to go back and turn that PipeVise guide back on, get the visibility back on, and I need to just go in there and rotate this thing around, and note that it looks like, and I'm gonna rotate that around. Actually, I'm gonna go to the back view here, and I'll right click on this piece and turn the visibility off. Same thing here, so that I'm looking straight in now. See, there's the issue. I need some gap in there, don't I? So if I want to do that one, I'll go in there and go back to Tools. There's my distance. So I'm going to grab this face, okay, and then I'm going to rotate around here a little bit and grab that face, 342. I'm going to try that again. I'm not sure I got the right face the first time. There's that face, and that face, 63 thousandths. Okay, so now I need to go in there and find this top jaw, and there's the mate for that, and it's 0.063 divided by 2, and just watch the way it snaps, and it went the right direction, didn't it? So that now if I look at that back view, Now it's lined up all the way around. Okay, so that's just another little trick that we can mess with there. And then I would go in and turn these other pieces back on. And that thing is, all the pieces that we've created are now assembled and constrained in there. So that's kind of a good thing. Okay, so that's we'll stop there, and the next video is going to be on using the Content Center.